I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with a 3-minute cattle market update for Wednesday, September the 21st. Where you look at the board this week so far, and it's just kind of in a holding pattern. We really don't know which direction that it might go because the funds haven't decided which way they want to pour the money. A lot of them were short before, and then they got out of those positions, and it gave a little boost to the market. But right now we're just trading sideways to a little bit lower, but nothing to really give us an indication of which way we're going to go. So therefore, cash is completely clueless. Your cash fat cattle market does not have any idea which way it wants to go. We've completely turned this fat cattle market over to some millennials that manage money in Chicago. Or other New York or someplace like that, but it's all handled by them. Those young kids there that don't know or care which end of a cow gets up first, they're the ones that run the fat cattle market. We don't trade enough negotiated cash, although we are trading more because we're handling more cattle than we have in the last several years, but we are trading more negotiated than we have in the last few years, but we still really don't have any leverage as far as cattlemen. You don't have any leverage on which way you're going to turn the market one way or the other. You look at the meat market, you have people on the end that want to buy the product. You have so much of the product, it's pure supply and demand. When there's more of it available, the price gets cheaper. When there's less of it, it goes up. Much like your feeder cattle market, we're getting in here where we've got people that want to buy cattle. You've got people that's just what they do. They feed cattle. You've got some farmer feeders that's got some really cheap corn that they don't want to throw away. They're going to walk it to town. They're going to come in here and buy some feeder cattle. They're going to buy some of these big calves when these big ranch strings start coming to town, and they're just starting to hit just a little bit, but it's pure supply and demand. We don't have that in the fat cattle market. Nobody has a feel for what's going to go on because it's all done by staring at a bunch of charts and which way they bounce one way or the other. And whenever some people that manage fund money decide to pour into the market, they can basically put a bunch of prices on a dartboard and throw a dart at it. And if they've got enough money, they can make fat cattle that price. If they can get there within the limit, within the day limit changes every day, they can make it that price if they want to. It's just like going into a game of craps and you got 10 times more money than everybody else is playing. There's no way you're going to lose. That's kind of the way it is right now. You look at your live cattle futures. So far this week, Monday was up a quarter. Tuesday was down 22 cents, ending the day on Tuesday at 107.67. Feeder cattle continues to erode on the board. Monday was down $1.17. Tuesday was down 65 cents to end the day on Tuesday at 131.12. You look at your cash indexes and they're higher than that. So this feeder cattle board is trying to pull your cash feeder cattle market lower, but there's just people out there that want them, and that's just pure demand. You look at last week's weighted average on your fat cattle trade on another good negotiated 5-area movement of 96,500 head. Your average live steers weighted average was 109.36, which was up 434. You look at your dress steer weighted average was 169.89, which was up 364. And now we're getting into the point where we've got a pretty good positive basis. But the bad thing that kind of spells this week's trade is normally in your fall months like this, August, October, December, your board trades at a negative basis, which means that the board is usually higher than cash. Well, if that's true, then your cash is going to have to back up a couple of dollars while the board's stammering around trying to decide what to do this week. But that remains to be seen. But we did see some trade last week for a 2 to 3 week delivery that was at a pretty positive price up there where our late sales were, 107 to 110. So we may kind of hold this fat cattle market deal together for a few weeks while we're deciding which way the board is going to lead us. As you look at some cash feeder cattle prices, Oklahoma City, 6,000 head on a Monday. Feeders, $2 to $5 higher on good yearlings. Calves, mostly on the steer side was higher, but steer and heifer calves steady to $5 higher. Your best demand was for your heaviest yearling feeder cattle, because there's less uncertainty about that. You're getting closer. We feel like this fat cattle market is going to erode eventually as we work through the end of the year, and these heavyweight cattle have the best chance of getting finished fat and sold without a whole lot of change from what things are right now. Joplin Regional Stockyards, 3,700 head on Monday. Mostly all your cattle sold $1 to $3 higher. There were some spots of $5 to $7 higher on some long-time weaned calves or some big heavyweight yearlings like that. But you look at Cattle Market Central, individual quote there on Monday at Tri-State Livestock at McCook, Nebraska, 128 steer calves, and these would be the good ones now. Starting to get some of your ranch strings coming in there, and there's just people that want them. And when people just want them, you know, we can't worry about a board or this or that and the other, or you know, what they're going to hedge at. If people want them and they got the money, they'll bring it. 128 steers weigh 555, so on the back side of fives there at 160.10. And we didn't think that our calf market was going to be quite that good, but on these good ranch strings it could be. But that's 3 minutes, and we'll talk to you on Friday.